Deep within the heart of North Sumatra, there is a silence that feels heavy. A silence that doesn't just exist in the air, but seems to seep out from the very earth beneath your feet. To the locals of Ahmad Suradji village, the vast sugarcane fields were once just a source of life. But for 11 long years, from 1986 to 1997, these fields were something else entirely. They were a graveyard for the innocent, a sanctuary for a monster who walked among them, disguised as a man of God, a shaman. Imagine a moonless night. The air is thick with the scent of wet soil and rotting sugar stalks. You were desperate, searching for a way to fix your life, to find love, or to gain wealth. You were told there is a man, a powerful mystic named Ahmad Suradji, who holds the keys to your desires. He leads you into the darkness of the plantation. He tells you to trust him. He asks you to step into a hole, burying you up to your waist, claiming it is a ritual of purification. You feel the cold earth pressing against your skin, trapping you. You feel safe. You feel hopeful. But as you look up at the stars for the last time, you don't see a savior. You see a shadow, tightening a wire around your throat. Suradji didn't just kill for greed. He killed for a promise made in a nightmare. A vision from his dead father, demanding the souls of 70 women to grant him the ultimate dark power. He believed that by consuming their saliva and burying them facing his home, he would become a god among men. 42 women vanished into that soil before the world finally looked beneath the surface. Today, we step into the abyss of Indonesia's most depraved occult killer. This is not just a ghost story. This is a true descent into the void. To the villagers, Ahmad Suradji was more than just a neighbor. He was a dukun, a spiritual healer. In a culture where the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds is thin, people often turn to mystics for help. Young women came to him in secret, desperate for susuk, magical charms to enhance their beauty, or rituals to ensure their husbands stayed faithful. They arrived at his doorstep with hope in their hearts, unaware that they were walking into a trap set by a man who had long ago traded his soul for a dark ambition. The ritual always began the same way. Under the cover of midnight, Suradji would lead his victims deep into the towering stalks of the sugarcane plantation. The air was suffocating, the rustle of the leaves masking the sound of their footsteps. He would tell them that for the magic to work, they must be one with the earth. He made them stand in a freshly dug pit, shoveling soil around them until they were buried up to their waists. Imagine the vulnerability. Immobilized, trapped in the cold ground, unable to run. This was when the mask finally fell. This depravity was fueled by a vision. Suradji claimed that in a dream, his deceased father appeared to him, delivering a gruesome command. To attain the ultimate power of a mystic, he must sacrifice 70 women. But the killing was only the beginning. The Wangsit, or divine mandate, required a ritual so foul it defies belief. Before the life left their bodies, Suradji would lean in close, not to whisper a prayer, but to drink. He would consume the saliva of his dying victims, believing it was the literal essence of their life force, the final ingredient to his dark ascension. Once the light faded from their eyes, he would complete his task. He stripped them of their belongings, jewelry and clothes that he would later keep as trophies in his home. But the most chilling detail was how he buried them. Every single body was placed upright, standing within the earth, with their faces positioned to look toward his house. He wanted an army of the dead, 42 souls eternally gazing at him, feeding his ego and his supposed magical strength. For 11 years, he lived surrounded by his silent, buried watchers, convinced he was becoming invincible.
Evil, no matter how deeply buried, eventually finds its way to the surface. In April 1997, the disappearance of a 21-year-old woman named Sri Kamala Devi finally pulled the thread that unraveled Suradji's dark empire. A local rickshaw driver revealed he had dropped her off at the shaman's house. When the police arrived, Suradji's calm demeanor didn't flicker. Not even when they found a pile of women's jewelry and blood-stained clothing hidden inside his walls, trophies from the lives he had stolen. But the true horror was waiting outside, beneath the rustling leaves of the sugar plantation. As investigators began to dig, the fields gave up their dead. One by one, skeletal remains were pulled from the earth, some fresh, some reduced to bone, all of them buried upright, all of them facing his home. The quiet village of Amandamai was transformed into a landscape of nightmares. Suradji, the man they once respected, confessed without a shred of remorse. He was only 28 souls away, he claimed, from reaching his father's goal of 70. He didn't see himself as a murderer. He saw himself as a god in waiting.
The law, however, had a different verdict. In 1998, Ahmad Suradji was sentenced to death. For 10 years, he sat in a prison cell, watching the shadows, perhaps still listening to the whispers of his father's ghost. On July 10th, 2008, the shaman was led into the darkness one last time. In front of a firing squad, the man who believed he was immortal took his final breath. But as the echoes of the rifles faded, a chilling question remained in the hearts of those he left behind. The shaman is gone, but the sugarcane still grows over the fields of North Sumatra. And some say, when the wind blows through the stalks at midnight, you can still hear the faint, desperate whispers of the 42 souls who are still watching. This has been another journey into the void. Sleep well, if you can.